and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into a really fascinating explainer. We're unpacking some absolutely brilliant insights from the legendary management theorist Fredmund Mullick, specifically looking at his core philosophies on managing and performing. So, if you're a manager, a leader, or honestly, just someone who wants to see the people around them actually thrive, well, you're in the perfect place. We're going to completely flip how you look at your team, how you talk to them, and how you actually spark their growth.
Right out the gate, I want to hit you with a bit of a mental judo flip. Think about our natural instincts as managers. Usually, we just want to hold on to our team, right? We build this well-oiled machine and think, okay, nobody move. I need all the cogs exactly right here. It's human nature to want to protect our little domain. But here's the reality check. True success actually looks more like a plant outgrowing its pot. Your goal is to make sure your people are growing. And, as we're going to see, when your people truly grow, they don't always stay right where you put them.
So let's dive into our first major concept, the talent drain paradox, and why an employee leaving can actually be a massive success.
Get this, the absolute best managers out there do not have the lowest turnover. I know, right? That completely shatters the biggest workplace myth we've all been spoon-fed. We've literally been conditioned to believe that keeping a 0% turnover rate is the ultimate badge of honor. But Mullick's research, it paints a totally different picture. The absolute best managers actually have people leaving them constantly. But here's the kicker. They aren't leaving because they're fed up or unhappy. They're leaving for better positions, higher titles, usually right within the same organization. That's not a loss of talent. That's proof that you've successfully built a leader.
Which begs the question, how do we actually make that happen? That brings us to part 2, shifting your perspective, from them to you.
This right here is where so many of us get completely stuck. Our default setting is to look at an employee and think, okay, how do I change him? Or how do I fix this person? But here's the thing. True development isn't about the employee who's sitting across from you. Actually, scratch that. It's entirely about you. It's about looking in the mirror and asking, how do I need to change?
Mullick perfectly distills this into one foundational question. Seriously, if you take nothing else away, write this on a sticky note and slap it on your monitor. What kind of boss do I need to be so that he can develop? Let that sink in for a second. You are not actually managing their development. You're managing your own leadership style to create the perfect ecosystem for their growth.
And creating that ecosystem is absolutely crucial because, employee growth is almost never a straight line up the corporate ladder. It's way more like a tree branching out. Sure, development can mean a vertical promotion, absolutely. But it can also be a lateral move into a totally different department just to learn some new skills. Or maybe it's a deep dive into a super specialized niche. Because growth isn't just a straight line. Your job as the boss is to offer up a real variety of opportunities. Think about it. Can you take a project that feels like boring, busy work to you and hand it over to someone on your team who will see it as an exciting, brand new challenge? That's how you become the exact kind of boss they need.
Moving right along to part 3, the power of concrete praise, and why simply saying good job just doesn't cut it anymore.
Look, we've all been guilty of tossing out meaningless praise. You know the drill. You walk past a desk and say, hey, nice work today, or great job on that thing. But guess what? If you praise everyone for every little thing all the time, that praise becomes totally meaningless. It just evaporates into thin air. Instead, imagine offering concrete, developmental feedback. Imagine slowing down and saying, hey, the specific approach you took on that quarterly report was highly innovative. Boom. You feel the difference? That isn't just a generic pat on the back. It's targeted. You're literally telling them the exact behavior you want to see them repeat.
For praise to actually act like rocket fuel for development, it has to meet 3 specific conditions. Number 1, the right person has to be the one praising. If it comes straight from you, their direct boss, it carries real weight. Number 2, it has to be for a genuinely well-done task. We're not doing participation trophies here, folks. You only praise what is truly excellent. And number 3, it needs to be concrete feedback. Just like we talked about, it has to be hyper-specific. When your praise is rooted in actual genuine observation, it stops being office small talk and transforms into a seriously undeniable tool for growth.
All right, but praise is mostly about reacting to the past. What about the future? Let's look at part 4, talking about true strengths by asking door-opening questions. I want you to picture this. You're sitting right across the table from one of your team members. You look them in the eye and you ask this incredibly simple question. What are you truly good at? I mean, wow. Think about how completely different that feels compared to, so what is your KPIs looking like this week? It completely shifts the dynamic, forcing them to pause and actually reflect on their own mastery. And then
you immediately hit them with the follow-up. What are you proud of? Firing off these kinds of questions actively pulls your employee out of that sort of defensive, guarded posture we all naturally bring to one-on-ones with the boss. Before they know it, they're in this open, creative, and highly reflective headspace.
And finally, you bring it home with this one. What kind of project would you really like to try? Ask them warmly. And then, well, here comes the absolute hardest part for us managers. You just gotta zip it. Seriously, you need to listen way more than you speak in these moments. Why? Because the answers they give you are literally the blueprint for how you're going to develop them.
Once you've got those answers in hand, your job becomes elegantly simple. You place them exactly where those abilities are needed most. Now, let's be clear. This isn't some sneaky motivational trick to squeeze productivity out of underperformers. No way. This is the ultimate gold standard strategy for getting the absolute best out of your top talent. You pinpoint their true strengths and you deliberately steer them right into the path of work that craves exactly what they're naturally good at.
Which perfectly sets up our final section, Part 5, your next step and taking action based directly on those answers.
I want you to take this highly tactical step today. Right after you finish this explainer, grab a notebook. Literally write down one row for every single person on your team. And in your very next one-on-one with them, I want you to look at your notes and ask this exact question. What do you need from me as a boss so that you can develop?
See, the beauty of this is that you aren't playing guessing games anymore. The action you take is now 100% dictated by whatever specific answers they give you. One person might say, hey, I need a new project to really stretch my wings. Someone else might say they need more autonomy, which is basically their polite way of saying, please back off and let me lead for once. Or maybe another person will say they want mentoring and closer guidance. The point is, you get to completely tailor your leadership to fit exactly what they just told you they need.
So if you take nothing else from our time together, remember these 3 simple commands. Don't conclude on your own. Ask the right questions, and actually listen to the answers. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to finally let go of the need to just maintain your team? Are you ready to become the kind of boss who truly makes them grow, even if that means they eventually outgrow you? Take that challenge to work with you tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out with me to explore these brilliant insights today, and keep empowering the people around you.